I don't know anymore.
I'm just waiting for it to update.
God, I haven't done karaoke in a long time.
Stream health starting. Your audience will see in a moment. Get ready.
3, 2.
Yay, we're live now.
Hey!
Hey, folks.
I
I'm
was
with
ready for that.
I'm Vince, sitting here with DM Glen of Thacko's Hammer and Old Man Grognard here on YouTube and Radio Grognard from Anchor.
Hi, coming down from heaven, I guess.
Glen with his halo, so to speak, in the background.
It's a halo.
Actually,
this is as good as it gets, folks.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
Also sitting with me is another fellow podcaster extraordinaire, the bartender of the OSR, the man that sits there in his underwear, Erik Tenkar.
And my buddy.
There is a reason why we have it from, the camera isn't like at crotch level. Okay.
Sure.
Actually, I'm wearing pants, so yes.
We
not
can
overrated.
Not all retired grognards walk around in their underwear.
We're not going to challenge you, Glenn, so we're going to take your word for you wearing pants. At least you're wearing a shirt this time.
Well, I don't know. I hope I'm wearing pants. I don't know where these pockets came from.
Well, And from my angle, Erik is like a floating head right now. That's all we see of him.
Holding a dog.
Holding his puppy, yes.
I'm holding a donka.
A
Is
donka.
this better for the floating head?
Yes,
a
it is.
donkey?
Yeah.
We call her Donkey. That's her nickname.
Oh.
Anyway, so we're going to have a couple topics to talk about this week. One of the topics is going to be following up on North Texas RPGCon, but talking a little bit about your first experiences with the con, because I know a lot of people are curious about conventions and local ones at that. North Texas is probably the most local convention you can get for Texas, but it also is international level because people come from, as I've heard, across the seas from Germany and things like that. Not maybe this year, but I know last year there were quite a few people.
Thanks to me.
Last year we had one woman that comes from England.
Yeah.
And I think we had somebody who came from Ireland last year.
Yeah, well, when I was on Save or Die, we were responsible for getting our first Irish, not only our first Irish conventioner, but our first. That was the first convention he ever went to.
Nice.
Was North Texas.
Oh. So it's a local convention that's gone international. I would say it's probably the size, if not bigger than GaryCon at this point.
No,
you don't think it's bigger than GaryCon?
No, North Texas is capped at between 450 and 500.
Oh, really? That's
GaryCon, yeah, and that's by Doug and Mike. Their own intention, because they want to keep that small con feel. They want people to be able to approach special guests, and you can't really do that so much at GaryCon and Gamehole because of the sheer numbers of people there.
This is why I always buy my next year's badge at the current one.
Well, it doesn't feel empty, obviously, if you're, but it's certainly it's capped.
Were you able to buy your badge already, Glenn? Because I couldn't buy it.
Oh, I do that every year. I walk up to Doug and says, "Here, boom, I'm done for next year." First year I did that, it's like he was walking by and I just slapped the money on his chest. What's this for? Is this next year's badge? What do you think?
It's a bribe. Take it, you retired cop. It's a bribe.
In fact, the guy who was working the registers, Doug's going, yeah, he does every year. Just do it.
Erik, you very familiar with that bribe system as a cop?
I worked in internal affairs. Yes.
So anyway, Glenn, we'll start with you, since you probably are the first person out of us to attend North Texas. When was the first year that you attended?
I'm guessing, I have a hard time remembering, but I'm guessing 2011.
Okay, so you did about a year after I was, a year before I started attending, yeah.
Yeah, I said it was good. I told you, and you said, yeah, think about it. So, but you showed up, and let me tell you, Erik, he ran a hell of a Marvel Superheroes game.
Yes.
Oh, I can believe it. I can't see him not doing otherwise.
Bloodfoot lives.
Vince seems to me like he'd be very good with the super games.
Are you familiar with one of the guys who comes here every year now is Montana Cole Squires?
Oh, yeah, I missed him this year.
I saw him around. I said hi. He played a Marvel character that could not shoot to save his life, so he threw guns at people and hit them. And he was good. I remember that. It's like he was a pure marksman if he threw the gun and not shot the guy.
Oh yeah, because the gun, the way we had written up the gun was more powerful material wise as opposed to actual shooting wise. So he just started throwing it using his
He had a
strength.
bandolero of pistols.
Yeah, so he just started throwing them as opposed to using his strength as opposed to using the actual gun damage. Yeah, that was great.
Mike Stewart played in that game too. I remember that.
Yeah.
He played like this really old guy with an Iron Man suit. He was like 80, 90 years old, and he'd get in the suit, and he just,
So 2011 was your first con, Glenn. What was your memory from that con?
Stuff I couldn't buy. Because I was poor. I didn't have the money then, and I just kept looking at stuff like the Frog God stuff, and it was like, I remember, one thing I remember is that's where I saw Tome of Adventure Design, and I couldn't afford it, and it's like, I gotta have this book. So I always seem to be buying the stuff I saw the year before that I couldn't afford. That's a tradition with me now. What else? I remember it was in this hotel. It wasn't really a hotel. It was one of those business extended stay places.
Oh, okay. You were outside the hotel then?
Yeah, this was it was an extended stay place. It was one of those places where like you had no housekeeping on the weekend, and there was a bar but no restaurant. I mean, we're talking bare bones here.
Okay.
And
so you were at the hotel prior to the hotel. Like you were
yes,
2 hotels ago.
More or less. Then the next year was the Holiday Inn. That's where you ran the Marvel game.
Well, that was it. That was a Holiday Inn we were at. I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was a Holiday Inn. We found out later was a training hotel, and they had no idea what they were getting into when North Texas got there. They closed the bar. I remember they closed the bar at 11.
Oh, Jesus.
And they had a vent problem in the kitchen. You walk through the dealer room and you'd smell like bacon or whatever the hell they were cooking in the kitchen.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, and everybody had like their own little separate little clique rooms during that con too. Like yeah, all like little special groups bought their own rooms, and they only kind of stayed in their own rooms unless they weren't part of the group, and it was kind of weird, but whatever.
Yeah, it was not a good experience. Then after that, they got the Marriott, and then it just took off. Then the Marriott, now the Westin. I miss the Marriott.
Oh, I miss it, but the Westin is a much better place.
It is. They could work on a couple of things, but like more restaurants around them.
I think they're building a lot of stuff.
Control that.
Well,
there were no restaurants around the Marriott.
No.
There weren't. I seem to remember a couple within walking distance.
Not really. Like I think Eric's talking like an actual restaurant, not like a fast food place. I think.
Oh, okay. But at least we have the food trucks.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably why they brought the food trucks.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that. I know you mentioned it like 2 to 3 times, Glenn, and Eric. You were like, "Oh, it's great," and I was just like, "I need to go check that out," but I was just like, "Meh," and I just didn't even bother.
Yeah, me too. I just didn't want Mexican food. That's all. But then I thought they have roasted corn. What?
Mm-hmm.
I missed out on this because Gage would go there a couple of times. Oh, their nachos are great. You got to try, Grandpa. So I never got to it. But I gotta say, the hotel makes a good burger.
I did not try their food because the last time that we were there, I did not care for their food, to be honest.
I'm sorry.
Didn't taste that great. That's why I kept going out. The one night we went out on Saturday, Eric, was it? Yeah, Saturday, right?
Yes.
Uh-huh.
My wife, we took you and your wife, Mrs. Tenkar, to Twisted Root. Yeah, Twisted Root Burger or something like that it's called.
Yeah, it was really good.
It was a very good burger. It was good.
So good, I had to leave some behind.
I always love the hotel's breakfast buffet. And for $10, you can't really beat it.
No,
and
that's a really good omelet.
Yeah, Gage even liked it because first day he says, "Yo, you should be paying that $10. Let's go over to Denny's. You get a lot more at Denny's." And then we got out there, and it's like, I'm not crossing that highway.
Yeah,
it wasn't that bad.
We're. Well, no, I've done it before. I mean, I used to do it with the Dragoons, Speaking of which, happy membership, Vince.
Thank you.
Did they contact you in any way?
No, I actually reached out to them after talking to, was her name Jessie or something like
Yes,
that.
yeah.
After talking to her, I went to the webpage and spoke to Jeffrey directly through the webpage, and then he invited me to the Facebook group because he was like, he didn't know who I was at first, and I'm like, remember, I met you during Glen's Gangbuster game, and he's like, oh yeah, that's right, and we talked about that, and he invited me to the little special hidden group that they have, so.
Yeah. Well,
Secret societies are awesome.
Well, they always have the China Berry room, so I always have a place to run my games. So
Yeah, I mean, next year I'm thinking about maybe running a game for North Texas. I'm not sure yet.
that'd be nice. Tell Jeffrey, he'll get you a table in that room.
Yeah, I probably will because they say they want their members to run games. So
yeah,
I was thinking about running a DC Heroes game because you were like all over the game. So
yeah, that sounds interesting.
that way I get to run a game for you again, and you get to play in a game you wanted to play in.
Oh yeah, you can return the favor. That game, I don't talk about that Gangbusters game. I don't talk.
Anyway, my first con, since we got done with your first con, Glenn.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Was in 2012 after you convinced me to go by saying, "Oh, it's awesome! Just go, just go, just go." And I was like, and I showed up in 2012 and bought a badge. And
oh, you did?
Yeah,
for the day.
Yeah, I bought a badge just for the day, and I didn't actually stay there. I just kind of stayed for the day and hung out. I got to see Steve Marsh. I got to meet him in person because I've never met him in person. Talked to Frank for a little bit. I had met Frank the year prior at Gen Con in 2010 and 11 when I went there, and that's when I got him to sign my Immortal books. And I talked his ear off that whole entire time about Immortals to the point.
He let you?
What do you mean he let me? What, talk? You mean?
Yeah.
I think it got to the point where he was like, "Okay, I'm done," because I kept talking to him about Immortals.
Exactly. That's what he does to me too.
But
well, not all the time. Frank,
he had somewhere to go. So
yeah, of course.
And then I met a few people that I had never talked to, like Dizzy Andrew from our community of WoW Games and OSR Gaming. Got to meet Montana, of course, in that Marvel game that I ran on that you guys pushed me into running for some odd reason, but I ran. Come on, just run the game, just run the game, just run the game. Okay, shut up.
I said, run the game. Well, I don't have the stuff. Well, I just happen to have the box set right here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a setup if there ever was one.
Yeah, I know. I was like, oh, I don't have any of this stuff. And Glenn's like, well, he pulled out the stupid box. I'm like, God damn it, Glenn.
I went into your house there, Vince, and made sure I had your personal copy.
And I believe that's the first time you met Mike and Liz, wasn't it? That's before Denton. Oh, is that before Denton?
No, I was already living in Denton in 2011, okay. So I kind of moved 2011, 2012. I had met them. Remember, I think all you guys came to my house at one point.
We did, but that was after.
Then maybe that was the first time I met Mike and Liz then. Yeah, okay.
It was.
Yeah, it's so many years ago. I'm getting older. I'm forgetting now.
I remember Mike's. I said, he's living in Denton now, but he never comes by and sees us.
Why does Mike sound like he's coming from the Muppets or something?
Because he is.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
No, all the
rainbow song, boss.
All the times that we were gonna play, the days that I could play, he had a game and he was already on his way out, and there was no room in the group. And then when he was able to do it, I was already gaming, and we had no room in that group. So and Mike wasn't. Yeah, and Mike wasn't big about going to like local stores to play games, as far as I can tell. I mean, he would always be like, I think I'll just wait. I don't know. I don't think he liked just going in public to play in public pickup games and stuff like that, which I don't like to do anymore myself. But I can't speak for him, so I don't really know. I'm just guessing. But that's what I think. I don't blame him because a lot of those games just turn out wow.
Crazy,
but,
huh?
Yeah, my first con was great. I had to go back every year, except for 1 year I did not attend, and that was for my own personal reasons, but I won't get into that. And
for a while you were like Mr. Press Pass.
Yeah, for like 3 of the years of the con, I just basically covered the con as far as just podcasting wise. I didn't play in any games. And even though Doug was like, "Oh, it's fine, go ahead. Just, if you want to play in a pickup game or something, go ahead. Not an official event." I was just like, "No, I'm just here as podcaster / taking pictures. I'm not abusing that ability from you." And Doug's like, "No, it's fine." I'm like, "Doug, no." And he's like, "Whatever." But, you know, he gave me the option to do that, and I didn't want to abuse it because I felt it was nice of him to even let me go in there. So,
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's major points for you. So, people points. Yeah.
yeah, I wanted to just stick to my, you know, I guess press integrity. I guess.
Status. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know, and a bunch of times, like Jeff D was like, "Oh, come play in my was it Tenkar game that he was playing back then, or whatever?
I guess so.
Pedal the whatever. I can't think what the heck it was even called. Pedal of the I don't know.
Next year, I'm going to try and get into
it. Wasn't the Empire of the Pedal Throne stuff that he was doing, right?
Yeah, that's it. Thank you.
Tinkermill. Yeah, he tried to get me into Tinkermill one time, and I just sort of blew him off, and I've never forgiven myself for doing that. Every time I see him,
I didn't want to blow him off because it's like a chance to play with Jeff. And I did get to play in this V&V game, another con.
Was yeah.
That was the new edition that he didn't release at the time. What the heck was it? 3rd edition? 4th edition? I don't remember what the heck it was called. The one that he was trying to get the rights back to, but he couldn't, and then he finally did, and I don't remember what happened.
Now he's got that Mighty Protectors thing. So, yeah, he got it back, but I don't think he got the name back. Well, that's why he calls it V&V.
I think he got the copyright back. So he got back the game mechanics and all that stuff, but he's licensed. From what I understand, he's licensing V&V as a trademark, and that's why he's pushing Mighty Protectors. So use that long enough, you don't have to use V&V anymore.
Oh, so he's trying to change the name brand recognition to more recognition.
I think so.
Yeah.
Either the guy won't let
like to me.
Either the guy won't let it go, or it's just got too much bad press about the lawsuits and stuff. He just wants to distance himself or something. I don't know.
I don't blame him.
Lawsuit went on for a long time.
That's my Monday morning quarterback opinion.
And that's all we have from Glen, folks.
Yeah.
Fine opinion it is.
All right,
Mr. Tenkar.
Yes, Mr. Tenkar. What about your first North Texas RPG Con attendance and memory from that con?
2014, I was supposed to go with Joe the lawyer, but Joe had issues that popped up, so he canceled out pretty early on. So Rachel's like, well, you gotta get a hotel room. I'll go explore Dallas, because there's a bus that's nearby. She had no fucking clue. In any case, we get to the airport. I'm like, screw it, let's just take a cab. We happen to get a cab driver that drives in Texas most of the year, but then goes back home to Brooklyn.
Huh?
Oh, wow.
You know, so he's like, why are you coming from New York in June to come to Texas? What are you, nuts? And then, so he gets us to the hotel, and joy of joys, it's the wrong Marriott. There's a north and a south. The one we go into has like marble floors and marble pillars, and right away we're like, there ain't no gaming con in this place. So we had to get another cab to go back. That was an expensive day. And we get into the proper Marriott, and I'm signing in, and I hear somebody behind me introduce himself to the desk as Bad Mike, and I've never met Bad Mike at that point, or anybody. So I was just like, I looked so I could see what he looked like, and I'm like, all right, I'll remember that for later. Rach wanted to go to the pool right away, so we did. That's Wednesday night. And as we're in the pool, there's one other person in the pool besides the two of us, and she's like, he's got to be here for the con. Let's talk to him. And she decides to talk to him, and she decides to brag about her husband.
Uh-oh.
No. And this is Erik Tenkar. He's like, who? You know, Erik Tenkar, blogger, Tenkar's Tavern. No clue. She's like, you are here for the con, right? He's like, yeah. How can you not know who Erik Tenkar is? And I was just like, wait, hold on a second. I go, you must be somebody that reads, that's a forum person, right? He goes, yeah. I go, all right. Well, was it, I threw it out to the biggest one, like Dragon's Foot. He goes, oh yeah, I'm a big guy on Dragon's Foot. I go, T-Rach. And back then, there was very little overlap between blogs and forums. Now, most of the forums are dead. Most of the blogs are dead. But there was very over. She was like, but I'm proud of my husband. I put raging games with game masters, well, both of us, with people that I knew were from online. She'd be good game masters. Tim Schneider.
Good choice.
Zach Laser.
Better choice.
Zach who?
Zach Laser Frog. Zach Laser Frog God Games. But he wasn't back then. And
No, he
John
was.
Kovacs. Those are the first three. And by Friday night, and of course, Matt Finch. By Friday evening, we got there Wednesday. By Friday evening, Bad Mike overheard Rach turn to me and say, "We're coming back next year. You better reserve our hotel right away." And she was sold. She gains at every con now, and we haven't missed the North Texas since. We've done 6 now, and out of all the gaming cons I go to, there's 5 on the yearly list right now. This is number 1. This is coming home. North Texas is really special. So.
Yes, I'm gonna die at North Texas.
But, and that was also the year where Hewlett Packard was having karaoke on Wednesday night, and Rachel was dying to go crash their karaoke.
Damn it! I didn't get there till Thursday.
Yeah, she's like, Rach, that's some event with Hewlett Packard HP. You can't crash their event, but it's karaoke. They'll never know. I go, the moment they ask you one question about anything tech related, they'll know.
They'll know.
So we have a question in our little chat here as we're live on YouTube, and Big G.
Oh yeah. Which chat is it?
It's the YouTube channel for me.
Oh, I can't see it. Okay.
Well, you can see it if you go to the channel, but let me ask the question.
I'm trying to find out. Go on.
Big G wants to know. I don't know if you guys talked about this, but what do you guys like most about the OSR and the D&D communities?
Hookers and blow.
That's not part of anything, Glenn.
That's true.
No, that's.
It is in my head.
Here, I'm gonna put it this way. I was a cop for 20 years, and there was a certain bond amongst cops that even if you don't like somebody as an individual, when the chips are down, they or their family member is in need, you put stuff aside, and everybody like circles the wagons and helps. And the OSR is very much like that. There's a certain there's this tightness in the community that we pull together when somebody's in need. And the transition from working to retirement was a lot easier, I think, because I was part of the OSR. Because I had that similar feeling with this community that I had when I was working as a cop.
So does that mean if somebody tries to find out something about the OSR, we're like the blue wall?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think. Although I've been accused of acting like the cop of the OSR, tracking keeping tabs on people like Ken Whitless and Garrett Sharker, who's definitely not OSR, but
you're the cop of the Kickstarters is more like.
Yeah,
that's true.
That is certainly true.
What about you, Glenn?
All I can say is yar. What was the question again?
Where did you get that hat? That's the question.
Where did I get? Actually, Disneyland.
Amazon.
Believe it or not. No, I got a Disneyland across from the Indiana Jones ride.
No, the actual question was, what do you like most about the OSR?
What do I like most about the OSR? Well, I thought I already said, but I'll say something else now. I just like it. It feels right as far as the games go, and the people are just shirt off their back, man. They're there for you, and they're interesting, and they like me. They really like me.
I like you, Glenn.
But not as a friend, but only as a friend. I know. But I just, I started doing stuff, and I didn't think I could contribute jack to this movement. And I'm actually like on the fringes. Actually, I'm helping promote it, and people really appreciate it. Yeah. Yes, I have no life, but OSR gives me a life, and I'm appreciative. I just love the people. I love the people. I love the games, and I'm just here to play. Actually, to have a good time, and cooperative storytelling is where it's at. Whether I roll dice or just talk.
That was the goal when I started up all these podcasts that we do. Was mainly to get these old games that we play into the ears and eyes of people who don't play them anymore, and give to spark inspiration in those people by giving them ideas each week with the podcast. And as we expanded and added more and more things, starting from 1E podcast to your 2E and then Save or Die, which was classic, and then to all the other various things that we've done,
Right.
all have been just to help people out there. I mean, I've never asked anybody for anything physical. I've always, if they want me to review something, I've just said, just give me a PDF. I don't want anything physical because that takes away from your stock, takes away money from you. I even asked for watermark stuff so they would know it would be in safe hands. And that's why a lot of stuff I've given you.
I now feel shamed.
Why do you feel shamed?
Because I do get physical stuff from people.
Well, that's if that's what they want to do, Glenn, that's fine with me. I don't care. If they want to send it to you, that's fine. But when they ask me, I always say PDF, watermarked, done. That's why you've gotten a lot of stuff from me when we review it that has like watermarks all over it.
Oh, okay.
That's why.
I asked for physical copies for a specific reason too. The way I wanted to do the podcast, I wanted to hold it up and go, look, this is what it looks like. This is how big it is. Like that. I always worried that I'm going to make a recommendation of something and somebody's go, hey, that's neat. I'm going to go buy it. And then it's like, what the hell?
That damn Glen.
Like, yeah.
That Glen is full of shit. He don't know nothing. I've gotten that response from my stuff.
Have you?
Yeah.
Wait, people contacting you said that Glen is full of shit. How can you?
Well, no. But they'll disagree with your assessment, and that's just going to happen because everybody comes into it. What I like and what Glen likes, there's going to be a huge overlap, but there's going to be a part that does not overlap at all.
Yeah, but like I said, I want people to see the physical product, at least in my review, and they can make their own judgment from there.
Fine with me. I mean, whatever works for you. I'm happy with having just something to read and just review and tell people about it, direct them to it for sales.
I wouldn't mind just reviewing a PDF. If that's all there is, that I'll review it. I don't care.
Good with me.
Yeah. So.
But that was the idea of it. That's what the OSR was for, a community. Really, it's like a hobby more so than a community that we all do together. And there's no
common interest.
Yeah, there's no like ruling One thing I really love about the OSR is there's no ruling factor over the OSR. Like in the mainstream, there's Wizards of the Coast like this. With Pathfinder, there's Paizo like this, and like all the other games, there's something lurking over them that's the leading authority. With the OSR, we have a group of leading authority guys like, Tim Cass, Frank Menser, but they aren't like
they're hands off.
Yeah, they're there to, hey, Tim, remember in 1E when you wrote this in the book? Can you explain that to me? Oh, yeah, sure. Well, this is how I saw it, I sat with Gary and blah, blah, blah. And you get to hear a story, too. So. Yeah.
I like the analogy of them looking over like that, because that's exactly how I feel.
That's how it feels to me, too.
The OSR doesn't have a leader, doesn't have a leadership, has numerous tent poles, some taller than others, some tents larger than others, but they're all within this Venn diagram that is the OSR.
Yeah.
Some people play Labyrinth Lord, Swords of Wizardry, DCC, Osric, many other games, Gangbusters. They all, you can belong to more than one of these tents within the OSR. Some people forget that. You're there, all these sub-communities within the community.
Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Sometimes I think of the OSR as one big giant family that fights with each other a lot. So.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's that dysfunctional holiday dinner where you've got like 24 members of the family, and you have to start out with going, remember, folks, no politics, no religion.
It's like the OSR where every day is Thanksgiving Day.
Really, and it's like that's with my family. With conversations always deteriorated when somebody started talking politics, or somebody started talking religion. It's just like, oh boy, because neither conversation can go anywhere good at a large family gathering.
Yeah,
because you always have people on other sides of that.
Generally, when I do these things, I try to keep them very political, religious free. Maybe I'll make a comment here or there. The last one that the three of us did, we did get a little on the edge there of what we thought of things, but there were some questions about it that we wanted to cover, so that's why we did it. and it's done.
You're not apologizing, are you?
No, I'm not apologizing. I'm just saying it was
explaining.
I was just explaining what we did and why we did it. That's all. And I don't like to do that often, and sometimes it needs to be done just to clear the air, clear the palate, and then you move on from there. Thus, we have this show going on this week, which people want to hear about, the con, experiences. And speaking of which, moving along, what is, and I'm going to start with you, Glenn, since you're old man Grognard and you get your little paws on almost everything. What is your favorite go-to OSR product in the last, we'll say, 5 years?
My last 5 years has got to be Swords and Wizardry.
Okay.
Between Swords and Wizardry and Light, it's very, very, it's been very, very good to me. I had a little, I had a little flirtation with Castles and Crusades, but Swords and Wizardry, I told my Monday group, my regular group, I says, look guys, if I'm gonna GM, this is gonna be my go-to. This is gonna be my fallback.
Aren't
because
you
I can do it.
Pretty big on Hyperborea, whatever it's called? Or...
Oh, Astonishing Swordsman? Yeah, in the last year or two, yes. But I told them Swords and Wizardry is going to be my fallback. Yes, we're playing it now. And in fact, I got another guy right now running it so I can play in Astonishing Swordsman. But, I tend to fall back on that because it's just so damn flexible. And you can damn near. In fact, when I go back to GMing, it's going to be with Swords and Wizardry in the Midderlands. So, like I said, that's a separate setting, but it works so well with Swords and Wizardry. I'm going to use that. And also, Swords and Wizardry has just enough new stuff in it, familiar stuff to the 5e crowd. For my 5e crowd, that they're okay with it. In fact, they're okay with Astonishing Swordsman, which I was surprised because it has very little of the bells and whistles of like 5th edition, because it's based on 1st edition, and Jeff tweaked it enough where it makes it really, really interesting for them. But anyway, Swords and Wizardry is going to be my go-to.
Okay, I think right now, last 5 years, probably a lot of my go-to games have been based upon superhero games because I've been in that big superhero kick lately. And to be honest, the one thing, and I'm not sure if it's considered OSR, but I guess superhero stuff does fall under OSR somewhat.
Yes, it does.
4 colors,
If
4C.
you say it does, it does. Yeah. I mean, it's our definition.
4C, 4 colors, the clone kind of face rip. You guys are familiar with it, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, 4-color, yeah.
Yeah, 4-color, but not 4-color itself. The actual game I want to plug is Jay Libby's G-Core Prime.
Oh, nice.
It's his version of Marvel Face Rip, based on a little bit on 4-color, 4C, with his spin on things.
Did you print that out?
Yeah, I did. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
G-Core Prime. I was going to say, where do I buy it?
Drive Through RPG, you can get it. I can add a link in the notes here for you as well.
PDF. I'm always ever since Champions, I've always interested in looking at new superhero games.
Yeah.
I just finished looking at Vigilante City and did a review of it.
If you want a game that's like Marvel Face Rip, but a little bit more easier to get your head around and more like 4C, this game is pretty much your game. So. It's pretty easy. I mean, it's very easy to read. There's no strenuous. There's no major annoying things to look at in charts. Everything is so written out, easy to do. It's very compatible with Face Rip too, if you really want to make it that way.
Okay. Some guy at the con this year was doing some kind of Face Rip variant or something.
Face Rip Tactics. So yeah, I've had him on the Classic Face Rip podcast, which I do here on my channel as well. Need Leeds is his name, and Sean Stacks, I believe, are the 2 guys responsible for that. It's basically a mini game version of Face Rip, but they converted it using the charts somewhat. It's hard to explain. You have to actually see it, but it's using minis. It's like a tactical game as opposed to the.
Yeah, I was going to say, is this like Marvel Mortal Kombat?
I guess so, but I mean, maybe, I don't know if that's what you want to call it. Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Ready? Just fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
Marvel
basically
versus Capcom.
you know, these things happen. You have certain rounds, you do certain things, certain events happen. It's kind of I think maybe more like I want to say D&D Adventure, not Adventure League. What was that other thing called that they had?
Essentials? No,
What?
that's 4E.
What was 4E?
Essentials.
No, it wasn't
D&D.
Essentials. I know Wizards of the Coast had their own like. It's not Adventure League, but it was like an event thing. I don't know what the hell it was called.
All I can think of is Battle System.
Oh, I know what you're talking about, where you played out like an encounter. The D&D encounters or something like that.
Yeah, some crap like that. But this is better because it's Marvel, and this guy took it and broke it apart, and they did it themselves. They had all these little pieces they had little made up. It's really cool. I mean, I took some pictures of it, and I think he dropped some pictures in the North Texas group as well in the last couple of days of the experience. Take a look at those pictures. It's really good. Also check out on my YouTube. There's on the Classic Face Rip channel here. I think it was episode 13, 14, around there. I interviewed him, and we talk about the game in depth and talk about the rules and how it works. If you want to check that out, it's a live video that we recorded.
Eric, what were we talking about last night in Tavern Chat about, what was it, TotalCon had a whole floor for Adventures League or something like that?
No, Gary Con has a whole floor for Adventures League.
If I ever get to Gary Con, I'm tempted to make a T-shirt and walk through there wearing it, saying, "Bring back the RPGA."
Oh, I still have my RPGA card.
I still have my RPGA battle mat.
I still.
Oh shoot! I still got mine too. That's where that came.
I had two of them. I donated one to my Monday.
I didn't remember ever buying one. That's right. That's why I
still got the Fist of Emrakul too.
Oh,
boy, that's great! That's great to sew somebody's head if they're not paying attention.
Did you guys subscribe to Polyhedron magazine as well, or did you get it?
I wish.
Oh,
By the time I got on the RPGA, they started just tacking it onto Dungeon.
Oh, okay, yeah, because I have some of the Polyhedrons that they were giving during
I got a lot of them in PDF.
Yeah, they're awesome magazines, but
they are.
Well, I shouldn't say magazines. They were like monthly newsletters at the time. That's what it felt.
They were
more
bigger. Yeah, but they were like short magazine size, like 16, 20 pages.
Yeah. Anyway, but as far as like if you want to go traditional OSR, Labyrinth Lord Revised Edition with Advanced Edition Compendium or Companion, I think it's called. Those are usually, I like anything that's leaning towards 1E because that's my go-to, and that is the closest.
That I look longingly out on my shelf, saying someday.
Why don't you longingly on your shelf? Why?
Because I do Swords and Wizardry. But you know what? Let me take that back. I do use Labyrinth Lord when I'm gaming with the grandchildren. When I'm running games with the grandchildren, we play Labyrinth Lord and Advanced.
See, now, I find Swords and Wizardry Complete to run very close to how we ran 1E back in the day. Close enough that, I feel very comfortable with it. Labyrinth Lord, I don't have the combined, Labyrinth Lord plus the Advanced, the AEC, in one book, which is what I would probably need. I didn't like it when it was two separate books. Just felt it was very awkward. Although Labyrinth Lord is a great game, and Labyrinth Lord there's a lot of support for it, just like for Swords and Wizardry. Those two get most of the support, I think, in the OSR.
Yeah, those are the clones
that makes sense.
That and Osric.
I don't.
Yeah, but Osric gets some. But now people are even going away from saying compatible with Osric. They're just saying 1E.
Because it doesn't matter anymore at this point. I mean.
Same difference.
Yeah.
I mean, at the convention, all I brought with me was my digest-sized version of Osric. If I was going to run 1E, or I was going to play in 1E, I was just going to take that.
Right.
Yeah.
If you have that option, because you can drive to the con, you can bring whatever you want.
That's
fly.
Right. That's
the only book I brought with me was my and I'm realizing this now as I'm looking at Vince. I'm like, I never had Vince sign my Player's Handbook. Next year, dude. Next year.
Player's Handbook of what?
My 1E Player's Handbook, my original, from like 1979 or 1980. I don't care about getting people like Tim Kask and Frank to sign it. That'd be great, but I don't care. I want the people that have influenced me in the OSR, and I'm talking to two of them now. I already grabbed Glen, but I got to grab you.
Speaking of signing, a couple people were looking for me at the con and couldn't find me because they wanted me to sign their Mazes and Perils. I'm like, oh, sorry. I mean, I was hanging out by, Frog Gods and by David Donahue buying stuff from his booth. Damn you, David.
Yes. I mean,
damn you.
Every year I go there and I say, Bill Webb's going to get a chunk of my money. I know it. He's going to offer me a deal. This year, I was offered a deal at the Frog God booth, and he wasn't even there. So
listen, I have learned to channel my inner Bill Webb, and I think behind the booth, I know how Bill is, and I've seen what he does, and you reward people in the community.
What happened was I went to Bad Mike's booth and I saw a copy of the Black Monastery, figuring I was going to buy it from Mike. He wanted like $30 for it because I figured you guys you didn't have any copies anymore. So, and I also saw the Blight, the only copy for Swords of Wizardry was there, and I know I wanted to get that for 160. And then I pull out and says, all right, I'll get this for 35 and him. And you come over and says, no, we got the Black Monastery. No. Tell you what, for 150, I'll give you both of them. And I said,
listen, I think one of the corners were dinged. We've had some issues with some of the shipping. And Bill is very quick to, Bill believes in pristine books. Your book should be used and collectible. Which is why he likes to take his books, and I can't do here, Doc. You're gonna have to sit up for a bit. He'll spread the book out and he'll shake it like this, and to show you that the binding is not going to give out like books from other companies who will remain semi-nameless, Bridges of the Coast, Paizo. If you did that, you'd probably lose pages.
AEG.
Yeah. Well,
I can't tell you how many books that I had to contact AEG about for Legends of the Five Rings during 4th edition, when that last edition that they made that broke, destroyed, and
all those stories about the first 5 ebooks. Same thing.
Yeah. A couple things in chat. Todd Parker is in our chat, and he's saying that he's seriously giving some thought to creating an adventure building podcast, going through the thought process to create an adventure. I think that'd be an awesome podcast to listen to.
Yeah.
You better do it.
And here, I'm gonna name my big resource when it comes to creating adventures, at least for inspiration. Tome of Adventure Design.
Yes.
And yes, it's now it's I think 42 in print. I'm not sure what the PDF price is. If you can't get that, go to New Big Dragon Games and grab their D30 Sandbox Companion and their DM Companion. They are other great resources if you need inspiration for creating an adventure.
My go-tos are that Toolbox, Ultimate Toolbox. That's expensive and now. Table Fables 1 and 2.
Yeah,
the second one has an adventure. The second one has an adventure generator.
Never heard of it.
And it was pretty handy. You can't find these in the channels. So this woman, Madeline Hale, she sells these on Amazon, and they're like
I've never even seen those.
They're like $12 a piece. Table Fables 1 and 2.
Do they ship Prime? Do they ship Prime? That's the important.
They do.
Question. All right.
They do.
But not to New York because they won't take a factory there.
But I was so surprised to see an adventure generator in there that actually works pretty good.
Does it?
For like the bare bones, to get you started.
Pretty cool.
That I'd like to refine it with other books and other things out of my brain and all that.
Well, apparently I have one fan here in the chat that says I should have my own booth at the next convention. No. But okay, thank you.
Why not? Why not Save for Half has it?
Well, that's fine. But Mike has, they have Save for Half has their podcast, and they have Victorious? Yeah. So they actually have a reason to have a booth because they actually have a game and a podcast.
We'll get you. No, Erik, let's throw in some money and get him a booth, and we get him a nice banner that he sits there with the recording clips and says, "Talk to me, Vince Florio of."
So in other words, you want to make him a booth monkey?
Yeah.
No.
Can we come over and
we'll put a tip jar in front of him,
like he's in the zoo. Come over, like, hey Vince. You want a beer? You want a beer?
So what was funny is when we went up to right before we Saturday night was over, and we went up to the bar to get a beer, Eric, and you got 2 beers, and then I'm thinking, I'm waiting for the girl to take my order, and I'm like, I'd like a Miller Lite. She goes, oh, like she's like so surprised that you got 2.
I would have gotten 3, but I figured I'd need 2 hands then.
Yeah, she's like, she walked away. I'm like, hello.
Yeah. No, he's buying for himself. Come on, that's half my daily allowance, man. I got to make sure I get all my wheat and hops in my diet.
Your stipend, huh?
So any other OSR supplements that you would think would be valuable to pick up that you can think over the top of your heads?
Let me think. What about you, Eric?
You said Midlands before, so anything by Glen Seal.
Yeah, Glen Seal.
Glen is awesome. He's actually going to be doing some work for Frog Guy Games, I found out at the con, which is awesome.
He's got another Kickstarter book, Great City of London, coming up.
Right, that kickstarted already.
Yeah,
but it should be releasing. Yeah, it should be releasing fairly soon.
And you guys better go either Kickstarter or buy it when it comes out, or I'll never speak to you again.
Oh, is that right?
That might be a blessing, actually.
That's it. You heard from Glen.
From you, the people.
Personally, for me, one of my favorite things to run has been the Lost City of Baracus. I had it back in the 3E days when it was Necromancer Games, and I have the Swords of Wizardry version. I ran a pretty good campaign with that, and until my party encountered the dragon, and then it wasn't a TPK, but it was damn near a TPK.
They still got the copies of those?
We had, at the booth, we had like 2 or 3.
Oh, I missed that. Wow.
Yeah, and my party actually wound up driving off the dragon. They didn't actually kill it, but they got most of its loot, so I guess that counts.
Oh, by the way, Mike Wu, I will buy from you next year. I'm sorry I didn't.
He left.
I barely got to go around the vendors.
He left really quick on Saturday.
He did. He had a complete pre-spell compendium there, and I just he went down to 225, and I still couldn't do it. I kept waiting for the Arknight guys to show up with those stand-up figures, and they never did.
He had a bunch of stuff in German and Japanese and stuff like that. I was like, oh my god, he had some good stuff.
International stuff.
It was too expensive for my taste. I mean, I wasn't willing to spend $200-$300 on something. I know it's worth that, but I'm just not willing to spend that. So.
Well, the 150 I dropped at Frog God was like the big purchase of the con. So after that, it was just like nickel and dime stuff.
Well, and the great thing about the Blight is that it has been tested. It is bullet resistant through 38 caliber. It will stop to 38. It won't stop at 45. I didn't do it. Bill Webb has a large enough farm that he has a small range on it, and he put a damaged copy of the Blight through the firearms test.
You know what? So, that's still readable. I would have bought that copy. Bill Webb tested, Bill Webb approved.
There you go.
With bullet hole.
Bullet hole.
Well, I never did get that copy of Swords and Wizardry lit, so that'd be the next
you'd have to make your own.
Yeah, I have to make my own. The Stacy Delfano commemorative edition.
Let's not. It's like Candyman.
Nope. Let's not talk about that.
Beetlejuice. See, it didn't work.
Beetlejuice is right behind you, Glenn.
Anyway, all right. So those that want to attend North Texas RPGCon next year, they should be opening up badge registrations in the next week or so, according to what Doug said. Yeah. So, unless you're Glenn and you just throw money at Doug and say, "I want my badge now, damn it," and you get your badge. So,
me and the kid next year.
Yeah. I'll be attending again next year. Like I said, I'm thinking about running a game, so maybe I'll run a game.
Official game or just open gaming thing?
I'm not sure right now because it's in the planning stage. So
okay,
I don't want to know. I don't want to be promising something and be like.
And if you want to do supers, any super system is fine with me.
You just want to play in a supers game. That's all.
Well, yeah, whatever you run, I have fun at. So
It's all right. So let's play Twerp Supers.
I can do that. I got a copy of it.
We could play Oriental Adventures again. You could play Who Do Dat.
That's the guy's name I played. Who Do Dat?
Who Do Dat? Yeah.
It sound like this.
Not offending
God,
anybody in the
teacher.
world on that game. So.
No, not cultural appropriation. Not at all.
No. Anyway, so with that said, we're probably going to wrap things up. Give this video a like and give us a comment afterwards. Subscribe if you have not subscribed. Share the video around. Don't forget to check out the various things on Wild Games Productions, such as the various actual play podcasts we have at rollhigherdie.com, where we host a Marvel podcast for Face Rip. We host a Dead Rain, which is Palladium's zombie game. We also host a Star Wars D6 game and other various games. Ghostbusters D6 as well is there. We have a whole slew of things that my gaming group plays here at my house, which is on the other side of the wall over here. You can't see it, but it's a whole audio studio.
Roll High or Die, huh?
Rollhigherdie.com. Each of the shows have its own feed on iTunes / Google Play / Android. You just go right to the site.
I will have to tell Full On Gamer about that, especially the D6 Star Wars thing. He'll be all over that.
Oh, yeah, and Ghostbusters D6 too, so he would probably like that as well.
Yeah.
But go check those various things out and enjoy them. We'll be restarting Marvel up again real soon, but I'm not going to tell you when and how until it drops. So
You devil, you.
Leave them waiting.
This weekend, we are recording another episode of the Classic Face Rip podcast, so stay tuned on this channel unless things fall through. But we have something planned to go over and review. I'm not going to say what, but it is Face Rip related and Marvel related. It is a big, major event in Marvel history.
Ooh.
That's all I'm going to clue in about.
And don't forget to listen to, of course, Radio Grognard and Thaco Timbre. I think this Sunday we're going to be recording episode 151 for the third time.
Okay. Well, if we're doing plugs,
poor Brian has so much trouble.
TenkarsTavern.com is
Top
the
blog
daily blog. There's also a Discord server, Tenkars Tavern, and the daily podcast, Tavern Chat.
Yes. And if you see Erik, buy him a beer.
We actually
yes, please do so. Yes.
One last question, and it actually pertains to the future.
Yes.
Ooh. Are you guys planning on doing more of these live podcasts?
What, like this?
Yeah, like
Do
this.
I have to...
Dude, you invite me.
Yes, we are.
It was like Field of Dreams. You know, if you build it, they will come.
I mean, it's not
invite
always
us.
easy to get these two yokels together, so I mean, it's kind of hard. I mean, you know.
It would have been. Listen, when I was doing these, I did 48 fireside chats, which are interviews on the Tavern Chat podcast in the course of 6 months. So my schedule was pretty booked. Now we're in like phase 2, which is, I guess, re-invites and a handful that we missed. So it should slow down. I shouldn't be doing 7 interviews in 7 days. So yes, I'm probably more available than I had been. So yes, I'd be happy to do this, especially if
retirement mode has kicked in.
So that means you're just going to go sit in your chair and drink your tea or something, or
beer.
Oh, sorry,
beer for him. Need crappy meal water for me since I'm diet now.
No, that's right. Glen's low carb diet.
Okay. Yes.
We'll have to get you the Heineken Zero. You know, the.
I don't drink beer.
You're in Oklahoma. Don't you need to have like that, like near beer?
Not after, about 6 months ago that passed. We got like full body beer and wine in grocery stores.
Oh my God.
We got something like 4 or 5 point beer or something like that.
Your state's got all alcoholic.
So with that said, we're gonna head out of here because Glen has to descend back up to heaven on his halo of golden light above him, and Eric's dog is.
I'm looking. Elvis is waiting for me up there.
Elvis, Jimi Hendrix, and Ma Cass, right?
And Gary, I'll be right up. Okay, we're gonna roll the dice.
And Eric's little doggy is getting too squirmy there. I can already see it. So.
Yeah, but she's been quiet.
With that said, we'll be back. More videos coming. I have more videos planned. Things coming down the pipe. You'll see. So keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.
Goodbye, folks.